Hello everyone, and welcome to our first game of the Unaware Draft League. Unfortunately, I've been super sick, so I wasn't able to get out a draft breakdown for this league, but we will still go over the team now. And I think it's a very strong team. We'll go over it quickly. First of all, we have Palafin. First time ever using the Palafin. I've always called this thing a fraud, so I thought it's kind of hypocritical for me to just call it a fraud and never use it, right? And so we drafted it. First pick. This is a high Tera league, by the way, if I didn't mention that. So we do have the Palafin. Next up, we have the Tera Raging Bolt. So, yeah, super cool duo. Priority spam, Thunderclap, Jet Punch, two of the best priority moves in the game. And Raging Bolt is something I've never used also. For using it as a Tera Captain for the first time is super cool. It seems like such a cool mon. Like, just being able to dish out so much damage and having such a powerful, like, special Sucker Punch is super cool. Like, this thing can Volt Switch around that Dragon typing to drop huge Dracos. Being able to Terrestrialize, be like things like Terra Fairy to be immune to other dragons. Double down on Electrical Dragon. Things like Ground. This thing is such a cool mon, and I'm super excited to use it, especially as a Tera Captain. Next up, we have the Petaront. Petaront is something I've drafted before, however, I immediately dropped it. This thing is like the ultimate physical wall, right? It eats physical hits for days, recovers them off, has that Poison Puppeteer ability, which is super cool, means you can throw off that signature move, Malignant Chain, deal loads of damage, get a poison, confuse opponents. This thing can parting shot around, obviously not great coverage, but that's not what its job is. But yeah, for what its role is, it's super good. Next up, we have Cinderace, really fixing a speed Tera bars, because everything we had so far was not the fastest. Highest was Palafin at 100, which isn't great. So we did pick up the 119 Cinderace. This also gives us our first kind of form of removal. We have Court Change here. This thing is just a really nice, fast mon. It can do loads of things. It can be support with like Court Change and Will-O-Wisp and just U-turn around, or it can be super offensive with like Choice Band or Choice Scarf. Obviously, Libero is such a strong ability, being able to transform into any type once per time you come in is really good. Things like high jump kick off that. Its signature move Pyro Ball as well. I didn't actually recall this, but it's as strong as a Flare Blitz. So, without the recoil aspect, obviously it has a chance to miss, but it's very slim, and yeah, that's just so strong. Next up, we have our Tera Superior. So, second Tera Captain, obviously, again, free Tera. Can be any type. Superior is a really cool free Tera, because, like, obviously, you have the common grass to be able to control Relief Storm shenanigans. You can be Stellar for also the Tera Blast, which is the main draw of it being a Tera Captain. But at the same time, you can do really cool things, like give yourself extra coverage. Like, Ground is a really nice typing, or like Fire to be able to become defensive. This thing can be like Taunt. It can glare things with that really nice 113 speed to make them slow. And yeah, so it can be a nice support one. It also gets dual screens as well, so it can screen up for us and allow something like a Carmine Raging Bolt or a Bulk Up Palafin to really set up and cause some problems. Next up, we have Grimmsnarl, obviously the big prankster guy. Also a really nice physical attack set, but he's mainly here for the screens. There's prankster Thunder Waves, prankster Parting Shots. It can also be potentially bulk up sets with like Spirit Break and Darkest Lariat, strong moves. Sucker Punch as well is always nice priority. We got a lot of priority on this team, considering it also has a Sucker Punch. Next up, we have Bronzong, another nice defensive mon. Gives us a Steel and a Psychic type. Levitate is also really nice. Gives us not too much of a ground weakness. Obviously, we still are a little bit ground weak at the moment because we have 3 mons weak to ground and 1 resistance and 1 immunity. But this thing is a nice Stealth Rocker. It's our first Stealth Rocker, which is really cool. And also can genuinely just be super bulky on either side. And it's also a really nice slow mon to be able to deal with potentially Trick Room teams. Set up Trick Room, or maybe something like a bulk up Grimmsnarl if we want to run that 1 week. Maybe like a slow Raging Bolt. All decent options. Next up, and I am shocked that we got this in round 8, we have Urshifu Single Strike. This thing is terrifying. 97 is a really nice feature. This thing, Wicked Blows, always crit, can deal with physically set up mons, just does huge damage with like close combat, can U-turn, pivot around, has Swords Dance option, has bulk up option, could be like sub setup. Such a cool mon. And this is my first time using it. Also kind of gives a Sucker Punch if Grimmsnarl wasn't already enough Sucker Punching. Also gives us a good fighting type, which is always nice. Next up we have we were kind of low on points at this point, so I wanted to pick up 2 that kind of gave us a few key immunities, and also we are really bad on the hazard setting side. We literally only have a stealth rocking Bronzong at this point, so we do pick up Gligar. Gligar has a spike, T-spike, and stealth rock, so it's always nice. Can be that Eviolite, also a nice speed to 85, surprisingly fast, can be U-turn around, can be just a nice early game mon to set up stuff. Also gives us ground type and flying type, which are really, really crucial typings, so that's always nice. And then finally we have Tera Munchlax. I don't envision Munchlax to be like the best Pokemon on the team, but with Tera it can be kind of cool. I nearly actually very close to bringing it in week 1. Because spoiler alert, our opponent has a Tera Typhlosion and thick fat Munchlax with a resist type, which is absolutely wall choice Scarf Eruption Typhlosion. But in the end, this thing can do that. It can be it's so specially defensive. It's like papery thin on the physical side, so we might see some opponents being forced to run a physical move to handle it on the side, which is always nice to just force a little bit of prep in builder. So yeah, that is the team, and let's get into what we are bringing in week 1, where we play Mr. Josh, coach of the Starter Supremes, fellow Brit. Always nice to everyone from draft seems to be from America, so it's always nice to face someone close to home. So you see my fellow others doing well in draft. But yeah, let's get into his team. He has a very terrifying Tera captain to start off the team with Tera Tornadus Therian, free Tera. He has Gloking, Ogerpon, Cornerstone, Tinkaton, Hisuian Samurott, regular Rotom, that is the ghost one, and a Kyurem, and finally that Tera Typhlosion, free Tera. So yeah, pretty scary team. Tornadus outspeeds our whole team because obviously it's 121 versus us in race 119. And just generally, something like a Scarf Typhlosion could be terrifying if that thing is a resist type for our Jet Punches. Like something like Tera Grass just to resist our Thunderclap and Jet Punch could be really, really scary. So yeah, let's get into what we are bringing. First of all, we have our Tera captain, the big boy, Tera Ghost, Cinder the Raging Bolt with the Assault Vest. This is our check to Torn. We just want to be able, and also just does a lot of damage into his team. Like if you look at that team on your side, the only thing that resists the Tera Blast is the Hisuian Samurai, and that thing is weak to our Electricals. So this just throwing off Tera Blast Ghosts do a lot of damage to his team. So I'm expecting Tera Raging Bolt to be very threatening. Assault Vest allows us to take hits really, really well from stuff like the Gloking and the Torn, and potentially even stuff like the Kyurem if that thing is special. And we do have Thunderclap obviously to do big damage, can chip things down like Typhlosion with Scarf, or can do big damage if I'm expecting him to be like potentially ground or some sort of resist typing to electric to deal with this, because otherwise you can't set up with your Torn. And then we have Draco, which is also really, really nice into team outside of Tinkaton. And yeah, we have Thunderbolt just for some decent damage. Next up we have Petarant running the heavy duty boots, just to avoid Stealth Rocks if it is necessary. We are physical Petarant this week because I do envision him to be Spidef Tinkaton to deal with us. Poltergeist allows us to see the item. I'm expecting Clay Amulet as well to block our parting shot, which we do have. And Toxic. Toxic is really nice. Everything outside of Tinkaton and the Gloking will get poisoned and confused, which is always nice. Recover as well gives us some nice recovery. And yeah, Poltergeist allows us to scout items. He has no normal type, so it's pretty free. As I said, Ghost is really good into it. Next up, we have Thumpback, the Palafin. We are running the Choice Scarf. This is to match the speed of that Typhlosion, be able to deal big damage with Wave Crashes, which his team doesn't enjoy taking. Outside of his Grass type is a Rock type as well with Cornerstone, and his Samurott doesn't want to be taking the damage. The Kyurem does resist it, but these are mons that don't want to be taking huge damage, especially from us being Scarfed. Kyurem is obviously never faster than us because we are max speed. Ice Punch is there for something like a Tera Grass, Tornadus, or like because I do think Grass is really good because it resists both the Jet Punch and the Jet Punch and Thunderclap. Sorry, Ice Punch is really nice for that. Close combat hits a good chunk of his team as well. I'm missing him on this team. This has a great task. I forgot to mention that. But yes, he does have a ground fighting type. And that also Wave Crash hits super effectively. And then he finally has Flip Turn, which allows us to, we should be leading this and just immediately flip turning out, depending on what's there. If it's a Torn, we will not flip turn because we do not want to risk. We do outspeed everything except a Scarf Torn. Typhlosion would be a speed tie, but I think I'll take that speed tie. even if it is risky. Next up, we have our banded Urshifu, which is really, really nice. We are just enough speed to outspeed the Kirim, I believe, and we just do huge damage with things like Wicked Blow and Close Combat. The only Wicked Blow resists on this team are Tinkaton and Hisui and Samurott, and those things don't want to be taking choice banded close combats from us. We can indeed also just U-turn around and cause damage, and Sucker Punch is there just for a nice priority, and also just in case that Taunt becomes too big of a threat, we can always just come in with a banded Sucker Punch and kill it if it is chipped. Next up, we have our Yachi Berry Stealth Elf. We are Tera ground on this, although I don't envision this thing ever terrestrializing this game. We are ground, so either way, we have this Yachi Berry to defend us, because we're always going to be weak to ice for the Kirim. Allows us to glare it, potentially. If the Kirim does come in on a Leaf Storm, we can Yachi Berry, and I believe kill it off with a Dragon Pulse, that is if it's Scarf, which is nice. Taunt is there just to stop setup from things. Potentially, if we're in front of like a Cornerstone, which I do believe we are creeping with this, we can Taunt it, prevent it from like spiking, if that's what it wants to do. Swords Dancing. Glare is also really, really nice into his team, because the only thing that's immune is obviously the Rotom, because even things like Great Tusk do get paralyzed. Because ground types are not immune to paralysis, they're just immune to electric moves, which is something I've learned. Yeah, that is the set. And then finally we have our Boots Cinderace. Like I said, this is actually our only removal on the team. So, and rocks are scary from something like a lead Tinkaton or a lead Great Tusk. So if we can just go Cinderace and immediately court change those over, rocks can be nice for us if in case he's not like a Boots Torn, which is always great. We have Pyro Ball just to deal decent damage. We are more of a bulky set. We are max HP with enough speed to outspeed the Cornerstone, I believe. And then we have Will-O-Wisp, because I do envision him swapping into things like Hammerot and Great Tusk on us, which if we can burn those would be phenomenal. Even like something like a Cornerstone coming in is great. And then we have U-turn just to pivot around. So yeah, that is the team for week 1, and I'll see you lot all in the battle. Hello everyone. Welcome to our week 1 battle. This is a post-commentary recording of this battle, because like the very smart person I am, I actually muted my mic for the entirety of this recording. So yeah, let's get into this week 1 battle against Josh. Luckily, one of the positives is there was a lot of shouting in this match that will no longer be here, so we can come in with a much more calm perspective. But yeah, we bring in the same team. Josh was Tera Dragon on the Taunt, so he did run the... I just completely forgot that Dragon resists both grass and water as well, so that's something I should have considered, but I didn't. He does bring the Gloking, the Hammerot, the Great Tusk, the Tinkaton, and the Kirim. All very, very interesting mons. I was iffy on my lead here. Well, I say I'm iffy on my lead, but I was pretty certain I was going to lead Palafin, and I was just looking at the team here and what he brought. I was a little bit shocked about the Tera Dragon Taunt, but I was like, okay, if we can get ourselves in a good position, and as long as he doesn't leave Taunt, we can always just flip turn out, kind of see what mon he wants to lead and see what he wants to do. Expecting potentially something like a Hammerot lead, or a Tinkaton lead, or a Gloking lead, something along those lines, just to set up Snow for Kirim, or set up Rocks, or set up Spikes, something like that, just because I know my removal is pretty bad, so that might be something he would try to take advantage of. So, we see that Josh does lead with the Tinkaton here. Very nice lead for him. And a very nice lead for us, because I'm just, at this point in my mind, I'm going, yeah, we just flip turn out on this. This thing is never fast, even if it's Scarf. If he is Scarf, we do reveal our Scarf. But I doubt if it's lead, it's probably just going to click Stealth Rock, or like a Taunt, or something like that. Probably not Taunt. He probably always expects us to swap here. But I'm like, okay, if this thing does Stealth Rock, what's my best play? I probably just get out into my Cinderace here to be able to, because we do have the court change, and we can court change the rocks back onto his side, and that'd be nice for example, his Kirim or Taunt aren't running boots, which I'm expecting at least one of them to, but Kirim could very much loves its scarves, and I do think offensive Taunt look very nice into us, especially if he is the resist Tera. So we do just go for the flip turn, don't see a rocky helmet or anything, and we just get out of there, and in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this is always going to be a Cinderace play, because we obviously can court change away the rocks. And if we can U-turn if we want to. We can throw off a Will-O-Wisp as well, because he does have the Hammerot and the Great Tusk, which are both very good swap-ins to us. So yeah, just obviously calcing, just making sure I got my speed right and everything here. Wow, I really do take a lot of time on these decisions. Did not realize that. Maybe I should be a bit quicker, because this is a very easy swap. Maybe I'm like considering Petron or something. I'm not 100% sure. So, I do go into the Cinderace, and he does throw off the Thunder Wave, which is a little bit annoying, but I am a support Cinderace, so I didn't mind it the worst. Like, obviously there's not a Cornerstone or anything that I need to like super outspeed. Obviously we are slower than probably most of his team, because we are max speed. But I was like, yeah, let's just throw off the Will-O-Wisp. We see the Hammer, we see the Great Tusk. He does make the swap. And he goes straight out. He was very quick on this. Straight out into Bedrock, the Great Tusk. And I'm like, oh, this is really good. As long as we don't get paralyzed, we're fine. We do get through the para, but we miss the Willow, which is really, really big. Because getting a burn on this would be really, really nice. It's really, really nice for stuff like Petrolron and Tera Ghost, Raging Bolt. And at this point, I'm like, I probably go into my Superior on a potential ground move here. It could be like Earthquake. We don't know what this set is yet. And it's not burned, so we can't really make an aggressive play at this point. In my eyes, we do believe, we're just calculating, but we do go into this Superior, can do a bunch of things, throw off a Leaf Storm, potentially, throw off a Taunt. We could see Stealth Rocks come out from this thing, that's an option. We could Glare, because he did not bring the Rotom at all. He does just go for the Knock, so we get rid of our Yachi Berry, which is maybe a little bit interesting into Kyurem if that is Scarfed. Otherwise, it's not the most relevant. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking to myself, Glare's pretty free, he doesn't have the Rotom, so just throw that off. Should be the best case scenario, right? Otherwise, our next week's play is probably Leaf Storm. He could go Slowking, which doesn't really hate being paralyzed, but it's nice for, obviously, just the 25% chance that he doesn't go for a move every time. So yeah, just looking over what to do and just deciding in the end to look at the team, see no Rotom, and throw off that Glare. He does make the swap here. Straight into Speed King, which we're going to learn is that Slowking, and we are just going to get 100% accurate Glare, get this thing paralyzed, which is nice. And at this point, I'm like, okay, this thing is a scary guy. He could just go for a Sludge Bomb, but he might be a little bit not wanting to do that. I think Taunt is probably the best play, just to stop like a Chilly Reception into a Scarf Kyurem here, which could be very scary, especially with our Cinderace now paralyzed. So we do just throw off the Taunt. Obviously, we're faster. This is a paralyzed Slowking. And we do see that he does have his own Thunder Wave to try and slow us down, which I was very surprised by, because I could have easily Terra Ground and thrown it off a Terra Blast there. Maybe he's predicting the swap there into something else, like for example Urshifu, which would be very relevant. I'm thinking to myself, what play do I make here? It's a bit tough of a spot. He pretty much could not hit this Raging Bolt, but I don't want to get poisoned on it from something like a Sludge Bomb. I'm like considering between all my guys here, and in the end I think I do make the Cinderace play here, just because I know that with both of us being paralyzed, I am fast on this, and I can go for a U-turn in case he swaps. So we do make that, and also we know that Cinderace, obviously being paralyzed, isn't the most useful anymore. So we do get out into the Smolder Dash here, and Josh does get paralyzed. So I'm thinking to myself, what do I do here? And I decide, just throw for Pyro Ball here. If he swaps, there's a 10% chance to burn, and we get a little bit of chip on this potentially. See his bulk, see if he's physical, see if he's specially defensive. Just waiting on the turn here. Obviously, we could potentially should have Will-O-Wisp there, but I'm thinking that he could just go. His Taunt hasn't worn off, but he could just stay in an attack. He could make the swap, something like Great Tusk again. Although he could be scared of Will-O-Wisp, and he might just stay in predicting the Will-O-Wisp, because his Slowking's already paralyzed. He could go Hammerot, which I doubt, because obviously that would just be just as affected by the Will-O-Wisp. So I'm just going to throw for Pyro Ball here, because I don't think he makes the swap. Just really thinking about this one. So we do know that he does have the Thunder Wave, and we do know. That's all, I think. That's all we know. Because he got paralyzed the second time. We do get paralyzed on Cinderace, which is very unfortunate. But it is slowly followed by Josh's Slowking. But we will see here that this actually benefits Josh more, because it allows him to shake off the Taunt, which is big. Because having that Pyro Ball damage, and in a turn where he can't take the damage, is nice. So we do go for the Pyro Ball, and that is a lot. If he does there go for the Chilly Reception. If we had got that Pyro Ball and he would just attacked us, we would have eaten it pretty decently, and this thing, if it wanted to Chilly Reception, would be after his Regenerator, still sitting at about 50%, which would be really nice for us. But we don't get that. He does get the Chilly Reception out, and at this point I'm like, okay, what is it? Is it Kyurem? Is it Taunt? What is it? What is coming out here? Could just be a Hammerot, because he's probably faster. Go for a Ceaseless, potentially. Could be Great Tusk. Could be a lot of his mons, just because a lot of them are faster and do a lot of damage to us at this point. We are max HP on the Cinderace, but obviously still not the most offensive, not the most bulky Pokemon in the world. We are waiting on Josh here. He's got that Snow Blowing. We still don't know the item on this as well. So it could be that Icy Rock. He does end up going back into the Great Tusk, and at this point, I'm thinking to myself, does he make the Earthquake play? Because Earthquake into potentially my SERP slot could be really bad. I'm thinking, do I call him on his bluff on something like an Ice Spinner and get the Will-O-Wisp burn that we missed earlier that we deserve? And no, he doesn't do that. He makes the correct play, just hits us in a race with an Earthquake and KOs us. So we are down a Mon here in a very silly play. Should have just gone into SERP, play it safe. There wasn't really any need to make that play, but there's a little bit of a vendetta. Missing the first Will-O-Wisp kind of made me make the silly play, considering the Palafin here, but it's really not the best option. I'm like, is there any reason not to go Superior here? And the answer is literally just go Superior. It's the correct play. We're not going to terrestrialize it anyway. But yeah, just maybe go Superior, throw off a Leaf Storm. He is obviously paralyzed on the Glow King, so if he does make that swap, we will still get the Leaf Storm boost on the swap. And yeah, it's just a very quick play. Immediate. Josh also immediately makes the swap. Right out, back into this Glow King here. Or Speed King, I should say. He has got a little bit of chip on him from the Pyro Ball, and we do get that Leaf Storm off, which does still do a little bit of damage, about 10% there, which means our next one will do 20. Consider yourself, do I make this swap again now, or do I play around the prediction? He knows I have, obviously, the Taunt, so he might not go for, like, a Thunder Wave or a Chilly Reception. He might just throw off an attack. We still don't know what his attacks are. Does he have, like, a Fire move? Does he have Ice Beam? What does he have here? Does he have just a straight-up Sludge Bomb? Future Sight? There's a lot of things he could go for here. So, and I was like, do I make an over prediction and like expect him to just like Chilly Reception out on my swap into something like the Urshifu and just go for another Leaf Storm and put him in a little bit of danger? Was kind of my idea. So in the end, we do make the play to Leaf Storm again. It's a very risky play that we make. We do hit another Leaf Storm. He does choose to stay in. We do a good amount of damage, get him down to 50%. We are +4 now. However, Josh does not get paralyzed, and he goes straight for the Sludge Wave and just KOs us. So yeah, Josh making all the right plays here, just hitting what's in front of him. While we're making over predictions that are silly. Playing around that Taunt, just going for damage is always the right play. We could have easily gone into our Petch too on that. It's just like just being scared of like catching. I'm just like, I was shocked. Because, like, he did not respect the Tera Ground at all, which was, in the end, the right play, because I didn't even have Tera Blast Ground. But, yeah, in this spot, we're in a really, really bad spot. And I'm thinking to myself, do I just go here and throw off our Poltergeist? What do we do here? Do we just go into the Urshifu and throw off, like, a Wicked Blow? But then he's probably defensive on the Great Tusk, the way he's been playing it. So it's scary. We do end up going to the Petron. We do have the Poltergeist, which should hopefully pick up the KO from this range or cover the swap into Tinkaton if that's his play. I forgot to mention this, but we did find out earlier that Tinkaton was Fizz Def, which was very surprising to me. I was like 100% certain that it would be Spadef. So Poltergeist won't be doing as much as I would have hoped if he does make the Tinkaton play. And we do see that it is Hammer Time the Tinkaton once again. So, we do hit a Poltergeist. We see that he's Ockerberry for that Cinderace. And, we don't do too much damage. The snow does stop. I'm thinking to myself, what do I do here? I can probably just Parting Shot. Get that slower Parting Shot. We are at risk of being, like, potentially knocked off or something. But he does just go for the Thunder Wave, hits it, and we're paralyzed on Petron too. Obviously, this is our bulky guy, so it's not the worst, but still that chance of being paralyzed is just always bad. We don't get paralyzed the first turn, though. We do get the Parting Shot off, get to lower this thing's speed and special defense. And now we're in a rough spot, right? What do we do here is the answer, because we don't have our Cinderace around anymore. We don't have our Tera Ground SERP to threaten this. And I'm thinking to myself, I think I just have to go into Urshifu and just throw off a close combat. He doesn't have a Ghost. He doesn't have Tera Ghost on the Torn. And even Torn will take a good chunk from a banded close combat. I did want to go into the Raging Bolt here, but I'm thinking to myself, I cannot afford to get my Assault Vest knocked off. And we obviously don't know if he has knockoff or not, but still, it's such a risk. We cannot afford to get that Assault Vest knocked off. So we do just make the Urshifu play. Well, we will make the Urshifu play after some deep thinking. Really considering our options. This is probably around where the shouting started after missing the Will-O-Wisp, getting paralyzed a bunch of times where it mattered. But yeah, we do just decide this close combat should kill even if you're Fizz Death. And you don't have a ghost, so you don't like this. He does just stay in, and he does go down to the close combat. So now is like a tough spot, because this could be where his Taunt comes in, and obviously that's super threatening. We are, like, if this is setup Taunt, we're in a really bad spot. Although we obviously know it's Dragon, so Dragon is kind of scary also into the Raging Bolt. Terra Dragon, Terra Blast, if we can't get a Ghost up and we have to swap in a Terra Blast Ghost at a Terra Blast Dragon if he's offensive, will kill our Raging Bolt at +2 if he nasty plots here. So we do just, it's instant, we have to, he does go into the Taunt, so we have to go Raging Bolt here, and hope he doesn't just start Terra Blast Dragoning us. Obviously just considering it here, not making any hasty decisions. Man, this thing is a threat. Obviously, outspeeding our whole team. He probably isn't. He probably has to be timid just because of how close Cinderace and this thing's speed tiers are. Unless he heavily predicted us to speed creep the Ogerpon Cornerstone. We do just go into Cinder the Raging Bolt. And we do see the Terastallization here. So, if we had just stayed in and CC'd, we could have potentially just killed this, which would have been crazy. But, yeah, Josh makes a really, really nice play there, calling us out on the Terra Dragon, on the swap, and goes for the nasty plot. Luckily, it wasn't the Terra Blast. So, with our Assault Vest and us being able to Terastallize into a Ghost type, we should always live any hit from this thing, always, and be able to kill it back with a Draco Meteor. And especially with that Tinkaton gone, there aren't really any swap-ins for Josh. So, getting this damage is huge for us, and getting this KO is big. It really would open up our Scarf Palafin. Yeah, this thing isn't Scarf, but still, Wave Crashes look phenomenal. Outside of Hammerot, which probably still gets 2-8 KO'd by Wave Crash. We do make that Terastallization option, and it's, if Josh does go for the Hurricane, I think if he was a Life Orb like Modest, there was a roll to kill, so that was like a scary 50-50 option. But I was like, there's no way he's Modest. We should be fine. We should always just Ghost. We should live any hit and go for the Draco here. He does make the Terra Blast play, so we do make the right call there. And we do see that, yeah, he is not Life Orb. He doesn't even do half of that, which is ridiculous. We go for the Draco, and we miss. This is where the shouting really started. That is a humongous Draco miss, because as you'll see here, he just hits a Hurricane the next turn and KOs our Raging Bolt. And at this point, we have no way to revenge this thing in one hit. Our only thing faster is our Palafin, and Ice Punch does not kill from this range. So what do? Our only option, and I looked at this, is to just flip turn and then sack something off, which is really, really bad for us. We are looking, I'm just checking the calc once again, we can't make it, we have to flip turn, do a decent chunk there. We do see that he's not like super defensive, so Ice Punch will definitely kill the next time we come in. And now I have to think about what is our best sack. Urshifu I feel like is still super useful, and so Pecharon is the one to go. He goes for the Terra Blast here, which is pretty free because we have no resist left. And yeah, we take so much damage. We do hang on, but we're paralyzed. We ain't living, and he just gets to go for another Terra Blast Dragon. We can attempt to hit him, but we still have no item. Probably Boots still, just to be insured. He does go for the Terra Blast again, and we'll KO our Pecharon. So yeah, missing that Draco is huge because we leave 2 humongous pieces, and we have to force us, and he will learn that we are, from that last turn, he didn't know we were Scarf, so we also had to reveal our Choice Scarf on this Palafin as well. Obviously, since we see he wasn't Scarf Tinkaton. So this is like so much pieces and information given up just on that 10% miss. I say I was going to record this calmly, but we'll try and calm down. It was fine. It happens. It's Pokemon. Nothing wrong on Josh's end. It's just the game we play. We do get that Ice Punch KO, but we are locked into Ice Punch at this point, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, if he goes into something like Kyurem or Hammerot especially, just eats this. If he's like Aerial Ace Hammerot, that would just be really bad. If he's just like Draco Kirim, that's also really bad because you only have the Urshifu around, and I don't know if that's taking one. If once we have to lock ourselves into a move, it's like with potentially we could have been close combat locked, but Great Tusk and Slowking eat that well. We could Wave Crash lock, but Hammerot's around and takes twos, could KO us. It's rough. Like, do we just stay in? It's just tough. I don't think Urshifu can win this alone was the main problem. Especially if he is Scarfed Kirim, because we have not seen a Scarfer yet. It's always rough. He does make the Samurott play, goes into the Resistance, which is smart, and we immediately make the Urshifu. Hope he doesn't have, like, Choice Banded Razor Shell or something lying around. I do believe we are still faster than this, though, so unless he's Choice Scarfed, like Adamant Razor Shell. We shouldn't die to 2 hits from this thing, we should be able to close combat, or Wicked Blow, one of the two, probably not. He just goes for the flip turn, which is really nice for him, and he just has a wide berth of things he can go into here that threaten us. Like Great Tusk comes out here, and this thing most probably is Fizz Death at this point to check this. And yeah, we can't do much. So I'm considering it. We're probably faster if he's not Choice Scarf. He could be Choice Scarf on this, although I doubt it. Especially because he knock off and Earthquake at one point, I believe. So yeah, probably just Fizz Death, maybe Rocky Helmet. In the end, I'm considering myself, if I make the Palafin swap, do I even kill with a Wave Crash? And I look at it, and I don't if he's defensive. So I'm like, do we have to CC here? And I'm like, I think, yeah, CC is the call. Or is it not CC the call? Maybe I'm not remembering the ending of this game as closely as I remember. No, we make the U-turn play. Interesting. So just a fast U-turn into Palafin. It's basically the same thing as swapping. Because, yeah, no Scarf. We U-turn out. Do we see a Rocky Helmet? No Rocky Helmet. Okay. We do get our Scarf Palafin in here, which can throw off a Wave Crash, which does a lot of damage. Should still probably land 2 hit KOs. He goes for Brick Break, so we do see he's a little bit more defensive. Earthquake shouldn't KO based on that damage, hopefully. Maybe with Wave Crash chip it does, but we can just throw off a Wave Crash, do a lot of damage to Kirim, and the existence of Kirim and the Samurott make Wave Crash tough. The existence of Samurott makes Ice Punch tough, and the existence of Glow King makes Close Combat tough, so there's not really a great option. I'm like, Wave Crash is probably our best bet. And hopefully we just either minus Defense Nature Kirim or like minus Defense Nature Hammerot, and he's dying. I mean, we definitely don't have the HP to kill all of these things. He does make the swap in the end, and we end up learning that he does choose to just slack off his Glow King here, which is a very, very good play, and just almost definitely secures in this game, because that thing healed up so much that we're going to take a huge amount of chip here. And now that he knows we're locked into the water move, he can just easily go into something like Hammerot or the Kirim. In the end, he does decide to go into the Kirim, and Kirim is scary. If this is Scarf, it won't outspeed us. That's one good thing at least, but if we do make the swap, which I do end up making, and he's Scarfed, then we are probably going to take 2 hits that KO us here. But yeah, just playing for diff at this point. I don't think there's really a vision where we win this. That Draco Meteor really just, ended the game, to be honest. He goes for the DD. We learn he's physical. Good play. Wouldn't have actually outsped us after the DD, which is interesting. Unless he's Choice Scarf DD, but yeah. We're terrified at this point, because he could just easily be loaded dice. And I'm thinking to myself, do I just Sucker Punch and put this in range of a guaranteed range of a CC from my Palafin, and just try and get 1 extra kill in this game, try and get it down to a 2-0. I'm heavily considering it, just looking at the damage we do, it's nowhere near close to KOing. But yeah, I'm thinking to myself, Glow King is dead, so maybe we CC. In the end, I believe, go for the Sucker Punch here to get the damage. We do that. Get a good chunk there, and he does just go for the Freeze Dry, which turns out he was special Dragon Dance, and he does KO us. And I do believe we learn he's... Let's have a look here. We do learn he's Life Orb. So yeah, he was always going to KO us with that, so that was the right play to make, because we wouldn't have lived a Freeze Dry. We do go into this, and at this point we have no choice but to throw over close combat. Because there is no way Wave Crash could possibly pick up both. Either way, we either have to Wave Crash or CC. If we Wave Crash and this stays in, we lose. If he just lets this go, and then even if we do kill with like a crit Wave Crash, he still just gets to go into his Hammerot and win that way. Or if we do CC as we did here, then he just goes into his Tusk, which yeah was never gonna die to any amount of close combating. We are forced to take a -2, +2 Earthquake. I say we have -2 defense and we die, and that is the end of the game. Or we faint, sorry, I say. So yeah, that is our week 1. Unfortunate that the hacks was really not in our favor, but we did manage to get down to a 2-0. Well played to Josh. He played the way he was meant to. He made a lot of the right plays, and yeah,